Hello there. Is there such thing as red line when it comes to democracy, rule of right, the rule of law, human rights, and such things? More than 50,000 innocent Oromo people have been kept in detention since the 30th of June. That's following the political assassination of our renowned artist Hachalu Hundessa, which in fact was orchestrated by the office of the Prime Minister itself. Ironically, to blame the drama, to blame the assassination on Hachalu's own family members, on Hachalu's own beloved nation, the Oromo, the government of Abiy Ahmed have resorted on taking desperate action. So some of these action amount to genocide. They are actions that amount to a war crime. Schools throughout Oromia have been closed down, and however, these schools, gym and other public facilities have been converted into concentration camps. Like I said, just in the past few weeks, more than 50,000 innocent people have been detained. Now, well, when it comes to the detention bit, it's not something new to the Oromo. That's what the Oromo have been going through for since the scramble for Africa, since it was invaded by Ethiopia. But what is really worrying at this time is the fact that Abiy Ahmed's government are using disease, and that includes, unfortunately, COVID-19 as weapon. It has long been reported by many credible international media outlets and international human rights organizations that torture, gang rape, deliberate starvation, eviction, and all kinds of degrading and inhumane treatments have been used as a tool for interrogation. But now the situation is taking quite so worrying route at the moment. In Shashamane, which is my hometown, the operatives of the PP, or the regime in control of the state machine, they instigated crimes. People took it to the street to just express their frustration on the recklessness of the government, what they call the government. But Abiy Ahmed operatives mingled with the peaceful protesters, and they set properties on fire to blame it on the protesters. That is the nasty way of doing things that the government of Abiy Ahmed has been known for, for the past 28 years. They burn down the hotel and then blame it on the innocent people. So in Shashamane, which is not really a big city, it is an average city. More than 1,000 people have been detained just in the past few weeks, and this include women, heavily pregnant women. I've been receiving very shocking report that pregnant women who were due in a few days' time have been kept in the detention camps, and these camps are extremely overcrowded camps. Some of them are, like I said, schools, and others are police custodies. So women are having to give birth to children in this concentration camp where there is no facility, where there is no water, toilet, or any attendance of health services. The prisoners also include elderly people, people with disabilities, students, professors, doctors, and civil servants, including, of course, artists. So these are the 50,000 people that I've just mentioned are not just number in the raw data. They are, in fact, fathers, mothers, sisters, brothers, uncles and aunties. There are mothers that I know, also in addition to the heavily pregnant moms that were arrested in Shashamane. Throughout Oromia, these are the shocking stories. And that is the thing that Abiy Ahmed has been trying to hide, as he is trying to show off on the media and on the television windows. For example, Chaltu Takale, a female who is popular among the Oromo, was arrested, and she was arrested with her baby, a baby daughter who is just 1 year or a few months old. In Shashamane, my father, the Kabawario, is one of those people who have been illegally detained. The Constitution of Empire Ethiopia provides that anyone who is arrested on suspicion of anything should be brought before the court within 48 hours. But my father and more than 50,000 or more people, and particularly those I have concrete information on, have been in detention for weeks and weeks, and they haven't even been told why they've been arrested. 1,000 people, 1,000 men, women, kept in the concentration camp despite the worrying prevalence of COVID-19. I received a phone call. I managed to get to speak to some of the people who are working, in fact, for the authorities, some of the police officers whom I've contacted clandestinely in Shashamane because I was so worried about my dad. And I was told that my dad is severely ill. His health is deteriorating, and we don't know what happened. I don't know whether he was poisoned. So yeah, he's quite so ill, and the authorities refused to let him have access to medical treatment. So through lots of pleading from my mom, he was allowed to be seen by a doctor, and the doctor advised that he should be admitted to hospital at least for 3-4 days. According to my informant from the police department in Shashamane, the police authorities said no. So my dad is denied access to medical treatment. For those of you who have been following my Facebook account, I've been sharing with you for years the situation in Oromia, and one of the things that I've always shared with you is about my dad. My dad spent more than half of his adult life going into and out of prison just because of his views, just because he believed in human rights, democracy, and the rule of law. He, as a lawyer, he fought for human rights. He represented people who were arbitrarily arrested and detained, but he ended up himself in prison, so he's been arrested several times. When Abiy Ahmed, the Nobel Peace Laureate, came to power in 2018, there was, in fact, a glimpse of hope that things would change in that empire. But unfortunately, it's only going worse and worse. I grew up witnessing these kinds of atrocities, and it's still there, and I don't want my children to witness that. And that's why the Oromo have taken to the street and shouting loud and clear, Ethiopia is out of Oromia. In the concentration camp that my dad is kept, it's more than 1,000 people, innocent people are kept just because they held the different views and beliefs to that of the authorities. There's no medical treatment, no lawyers, no access to lawyers, and in fact, none of them have been charged with anything. Just before Abiy Ahmed came to power, my dad had been in prison because he was taken kidnapped, and you all remember I launched a petition. He was released, and many of these over 50,000 innocent Oromo people that I've been talking about were the ones that were released at that time when Abiy was trying to appease the foreigners with the international community, and he promised this. He said, "We will never arrest anyone without thorough investigation. We don't arrest people and investigate," he said. "We investigate the crime and then arrest people." Abiy Ahmed went on to brand the government that he served for the past 28 years a terrorist. He said, "We were terrorists. We were the ones who were keeping innocent people in a dark room, who were using torture, gang rape, amputation, and other forms of horrible tools as interrogation." And he said to bring that to an end. And the world was happy. That's why he was given Nobel Peace Prize. But none of what he promised have been kept, and things are getting worse and worse. This is the fourth time for my dad to be arrested just since Abiy Ahmed came to power. And none of these times, in none of these occasions, he was charged with anything. He has been in detention now for weeks, as other 50,000 innocent Oromo people, and he has not been told the reason why he's been arrested. He has not been charged with anything. and so are other people as well. That's why I question the Western democratic countries. What would you do if this was to happen to you? I'm putting this question to the taxpayers. I've been working hard and paying tax, and I know Ethiopia receives more than half of its budget as a foreign aid, and I feel extremely opinionated about the fact that part of the tax money that I'm paying is going to support the regime that is using COVID-19 as weapon. People are getting ill. There are diarrhea, some vomiting. Some of these people have caught COVID-19, and there's no precaution given to them. And they shouldn't be put in prison in the first place, but it is double blind, it's double jeopardy. People arbitrarily arrested and now subjected to COVID-19. Will the world show solidarity to the likes of my dad, to the 50,000 or more people who are in prison? Will the world show solidarity to the millions of Oromos around the world who are taking to the street every week? To those people who should be working and supporting themselves today, but took it to the street in London, in Berlin, in many cities across the US, shouting justice. Of course, we're too polite. We don't do funny things to attract the attention of international media. We don't do suicide bombing, the kind of things that catch the attention of international media, because that is not who we are. So, will you guys in America, in the US, in Canada, in the UK, I mean, in all countries in the UK, in Wales, Scotland, England, and Northern Ireland, in Australia, New Zealand, and everyone who could get to listen to what I'm saying, will you question your government? Will you question your MP about what is going on in Ethiopia, because Ethiopia seems to be an ally of your countries? Your tax money is going to support the government of Ethiopia, the authority that is using disease as a weapon. The government whose soldiers have gunned down thousands and thousands of innocent men, women, elderly people, and children. As you pull down the statues of slave traders, as you pull down the statues of Edward Coswell and others in the UK, people who never went to Africa and who caught slaves at gunpoint, will you question your government to do something about the country whose lurers were the ones that captured slaves at gunpoint and whose rulers are at the moment facilitating modern day slavery by forcing people to flee home and end up in the hands of the gangsters. Will you do this? Thank you. Hayyee akkuma waadaa isinii galitti as dhufeera. Addunyaa waa gaafachuutu nurra jira. Hiriirri nagaa ba'amaa jira addunyaa kana guutuu irratti karaa adda addaatiin. Wanti nuti dubbachuun nurra jiraatu yeroo ammaatti nama 50,000 ol kan ta'antu Oromoon badii tokko malee garee Abiy Ahmed kanaan hidhamanii haala hamaa keessa kan jiranii, namoonni yeroo dhukkubsatan wal'aansa fayyaa argataa hin jiranii, namoonni yeroo guddisanii lubbuman yeroo hospitaala seenuun isaaniif malu hospitaala dhaqanii akka wal'aansa fudhatan taasifamaa hin jiru. Kanaaf sadarkaan wanti kun ga'e jedhamu irra ga'eera waan ta'eef nuti hundumnuu haala kanaan duraa caalaa akka dammaquun nurra jiru walii dhaamuun barbaachisaadha. Keessumaa tattaaffii godhamaa jiru. Inni mootummaadhaaf hin jedhu kan Abiy Ahmediin hoogganamu kun kanaa ol turuun irra hin jiraatu, jaallatus jibbus ba'uu qaba. Salphina guddaa nutti fideera hingaa. Kanaaf waan gama danda'amuun godhaa jirru. Karaa nagaatiin, karaa cufuun, gabaa lagachuun, isa humna waraana ittisa Oromiyaa jajjabeessuun woboo jechuu kiyya waan dandeenyu maraan fundura dhaabbannee falmachuu danda'utu nurra jira. Addunyaa keessatti hammeenna caalu kan amma mootummaan Abiy Ahmed kun godhaa jiru. Waraana bilisummaa Oromoo humna qawweetii waraanuu dadhabee uummatatti garagalee uummata nagaa daa'imman haawwatii qawweetti roobsisee ajjeesa, kaawwan funaanee walitti dhukkubaaf saaxila. Wantoota ta'amaa jiru argaa jirra hundumti keenya waliin. Wanti kun dhaabachuu qaba yaa Oromoo. Haalli inni ittiin dhaabatu ammoo yoo dhukkubni Itoophiyaa jedhamu kun Oromiyaa keessaa bahe qofa. Kanaaf waan godhaa jirru akka ijarraa hin kaafannee, akka hin dagannee, kaayyoon keenya guddaan Abiy Ahmed aangoorraa kaasuu miti, yookaan akkuma amma dura warra wayyaanee aangoorraa kaafame wayyaanee caalu warri OPDO warri gudaayida diinaa keessaa baate sababa nuti wanna kaayyeeffanne san irratti xiyyeeffachuu dhabneef har'as kun walitti garagallee kana haasa'aa jira. Amma booda wanni nuti ija keenya irraa kaafachuu hin qabne waa'ee bilisummaa, waa'ee walabummaati. Kanaaf yeroo isaan achi gadi ba'anii nu sobuu barbaadan dhaga'uun nurra hin jiru. Kaayyoo keenya irratti xiyyeeffannee falmachuu qabna. Namoonni mana hidhaa keessa jiran dhugaadhaa ba'uu qabanii, garuu warri mana hidhaati yoo ba'an dhufanii kaayyoo qabsoo kanatti dabalamani. Warri alaa fi biyya keessa jiru waan dandeenyu godhuu qabna. Aga dandeenyu qeerroo jajjabeessuutu nurra jira. Waan dandeenyu bira dhaabachuu qabna. Mudhii keenya jabeeffachuutu nurra jira. Waraana ittisa Oromiyaa yookaan waraana bilisummaa Oromoo jabeeffachuu qabna. Galatooma.